Okay, so we're asked to solve this. Again, you can use all the different methods we learned. One way was we learned how to solve by factoring. So I'm going to take out the GCF, which is 3x, factor out the GCF, and then I set each factor equal to 0, and solve for x. So we'd get x equals 0, so that's one solution, and x equals 2. Okay, another method to solve this is we can complete the square. So remember, to complete the square, a has to be 1. And then to complete the square, we take b, which is -2, divide it by 2, and then square that number. So we are going to add a +1 to both sides. So now we would have this trinomial on the left side, which this can now be factored as x minus 1 times x minus 1, which now we have successfully completed the square because we can write it like that. So now that we have completed the square, we can now solve this by square rooting both sides. So we can square root both sides. Remember, we need a plus or minus when we put one of those in. And the square root of 1 is just 1, so we can get rid of that radical. And then we would get x equals 1 plus 1, and x equals -1 plus 1. So that would be 2 and 0. So x is 2 and x is 0, which is the same thing we got using factoring. 0 and 2. Okay, so a third way we could solve this is by using the quadratic formula. So I'd plug in 3 for a, -6 for b, and c is 0. Or, instead, so that would work, that would get you the right answer, or you could do this. I'm going to divide, since 3 goes into all of them, and now, and whatever you do to one side, you could do to the other. Now, instead, the numbers are smaller to plug in the formula. You could have a be 1, b -2, and c be 0. So either combination of numbers, you're still going to get the same answer. So go ahead and plug in the numbers that you chose, whether you would divide by 3 to make the number smaller, or you would have used the numbers before. So we would have -b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So this would make a +2. Okay, so now the square root of 4 is the same thing as 2. So now we have this, and we would have 2 plus 2 divided by 2, and we'd have 2 minus 2 divided by 2. So we would have 4 divided by 2, which is 2, so that's one of our answers, and then we'd have 0 divided by 2, which is 0. And those are the exact same two answers that we got using this method and this method.